Some schools are trying to ramp up COVID-19 testing in order to keep in-person learning going. Minnesota extended its grant program until October 15th to help fund testing kits for students and staff. Robbinsdale schools received a grant of more than $600,000 from the Minnesota Department of Health to expand its free COVID-19 testing program. The tests are available to all students and staff in the district.
We feel strongly about helping really reduce cases by catching either symptomatic students or students that may, or staff that may not be symptomatic, but that we can really prevent spread in by catching.
Currently, the district is using saliva tests, which people take home and then get results mailed to them. Transportation continues to be an issue in the Robbinsdale School District. Nearly 1,500 students haven't had school bus service yet this year, and that's due to a shortage of drivers. Delane Cleveland has more.
Yeah, we are 1 month into the school year, and the Robbinsdale School District still doesn't have enough drivers to cover all of its bus routes. District officials say this first month of the year has been a, quote, terrible struggle.
We're down about 20% for our drivers.
It's the same problem that existed at the beginning of September. And according to Jeff Connell, the transportation director for Robbinsdale Schools, it's an issue that won't be resolved anytime soon.
The harsh reality is this problem is here to stay. This problem isn't going to go away next summer. It's not going to go away next year. And if we're realistic about it, the bus driver shortage has been happening for the last 5 years. COVID and the employment situation, after have just really exacerbated this issue for us.
The district is still in the middle of a hiring campaign where they're offering a number of different incentives to encourage people to become drivers, but they acknowledge that they're not going to get people on board fast enough.
The backlog for a driver testing behind the wheel to be a bus driver, they're scheduling out into November. And that's a terrible delay for us.
With that backlog, the district has decided to implement an opt-out program. They'll soon reach out to families to find out who absolutely doesn't need school bus service. Then over the next 2 months, Connell and his team will reroute the entire district.
We're expecting and hopeful that we can get as many as 20% are going to say they don't need a bus.
If a family opts out, that will give the district an opportunity to focus on the families that say they really need bus service. If at some point a family wants to opt back in, the district will have a system in place to let them do that. In Robbinsdale, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
The Annex Teen Clinic in Robbinsdale celebrates 50 years this year. To learn more about what the clinic does and how it started, we sat down with Executive Director Brian Russ.
The Annex Teen Clinic is a wonderful locally grown organization that was started by faith communities in response to young people approaching them that there was no place for them to go to gain access to accurate and comprehensive information about sexual health and access to clinical service around sexual health. And so our mission is really to create communities that are smart about sex. It's our tagline. We just think it's time that everybody agrees that sexual health is something that we do need to talk about. And so our goal is to help young people be smart about sex. We provide accessible clinical services that are consistent with the state's minor's consent law. So it's pregnancy-related, reproductive health-related, sexually transmitted infection-related services for young people through age 26. Well, I've been with the organization for almost 29 years now, and there have been significant changes. We focus less on what we do than how we do it. And so we've really invested a lot of time and energy in making sure we are doing our work as effectively as possible. So we provide a lot more training now for our staff around using techniques to help young people be the driver of that healthcare experience. And so listening really well and making sure young people are identifying what they need from us. We have a generation of parents now that I think are very supportive of the work that we do and want to make sure that their young people have access to this information. So there's of course been a number of things that we've had to grapple with to make sure our services are accessible for all young people and are high quality.
And very quickly, if someone's watching this at home and they want to get involved, what can they do?
Well, I would encourage them to reach out to us. We've got great educational programming for adults. We've got follow us on social media, of course, and send in a contribution if you can.
All right, very good. Brian Russ, Executive Director of the Annex Teen Clinic. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Golden Valley is taking steps to reshape the future of its fire department, which includes a plan to build a new fire station. This past week, the City Council voiced support for a $1.7 million bonding request to the state legislature to help build a new station that would replace 2 old ones. Currently, Golden Valley has 3 fire stations and uses a paid-on-call model to staff its department. However, a study conducted 5 years ago recommended that Golden Valley shift to a 2-station duty crew model. To accommodate the shift and improve response times, the city wants to construct a new station near Highway 100 on the east side of Golden Valley. The Shops at Arbor Lakes is preparing to bring back their annual Girls Night Out event on Thursday, October 14th. The fundraiser benefits Hope Chest for breast cancer. Tickets are $10 in advance or $15 at the door, and you can check in at the space near White House Black Market. Then visit participating stores to take advantage of the special offers.
The Champlin Park girls tennis team enjoyed a strong season despite having a young team. Their #1 singles player has logged a lot of varsity court time, and she is featured in this week's CCX Sports Spotlight. Here is Jason Malillo with her story.
Alex Repplier calls the tennis court her happy place. The Champlin Park Junior tried a lot of sports growing up, but tennis stuck.
It was just something about the fact that when I'm on the court, it's me, and I get to make decisions, and if, I mess up, it's me, and if I win, it's me.
Repplier started playing when she was 5 years old and made the CP varsity as a 7th grader. In 9th grade, she became the Rebels' #1 singles player.
I went from just being the flattest, hardest hitter ever to someone who I can actually hit topspin now, and just really, I know how to construct points better, and I know how to really just set up a strategy that'll work to have me be successful on the court.
Repplier is a team captain this season and tries to be a leader and mentor to younger players.
She really took me under her wing. She just made sure I felt like I could talk to her about anything, and if I had any questions, I could go to her.
Year after year, she got a little more mature. She started to make friends, and she's really blossomed into the leader of Champlin Park Tennis.
Repplier is always striving to get better, and to that end, she plays on the club circuit as well.
I love competing in tournaments, whether they're local level or national level, and the club environment is just so fun, and it is something I really love to do, is just compete, and every weekend, we're traveling to different cities and spending a lot of time on the court.
Still, Repplier says the club tennis world is very different from high school and can sometimes be difficult to manage.
I've kind of built a community with my family and with my coaches where, I have a supportive group around me, but definitely when you're on the court, you're just kind of sitting on the bench yourself. It definitely can get feel a little lonely.
When she's not playing tennis or keeping up with her schoolwork, Alex Repplier is probably teaching the game. She volunteers at Inner City Tennis in Minneapolis.
It's the greatest feeling, just seeing these kids kind of latch onto a sport that I love so much, and just the smiles on their face when they kind of, hit a forehand for the first time, or, something just clicks in their head where they're like, oh my God, I know how to do this. It's just a really amazing feeling to know that I have an impact on their lives and that I get to show them something that I love so much and see them love it just as much.
Champlin Park bowed out early in the section tournament, but with a pretty young squad, Repplier believes the future is bright for Rebels tennis.
All of these girls work so hard in the off season, and we all play constantly, almost every day in the off season. And so as we look into the future, we know that even if this year isn't perfect, we have time to grow, and we can do even better next year and just keep working hard.
Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Thanks, Jason. Though the Rebels were knocked out in the quarterfinals of the team tournament by Buffalo, Alex will compete in the Section 5AA singles tournament October 18th and 19th. Champlin Park and Wayzata meet Monday night in a matchup of top 10 volleyball teams. The Rebels scored their 5th straight win this week. Fan Appreciation Night Thursday at Champlin Park Volleyball as the 6th-ranked Rebels hosted St. Louis Park. Nice dig by the Rebels' Jordan Kerpock, and then Reese Axness with a back set to Carly Gilk for the kill. Part of a 12-0 scoring run on the first set for Champlin Park. Later it's Gilk with a pass up to Axness, who then sets to Claire Caswell for one of her 8 kills in the match. Rebels win the first set 25-12. Set 2, and off a St. Louis Park serve, Ellie Schmidt passes to Allison Kopp, and the senior sets the ball to Marley Hansen, who attacks and scores the point as Rebels build another lead. Axness goes outside with this set to Addison Kapitsky for the kill, one of 9 Rebels players to record at least 1 kill in the match. CP wins the second set 25-13. Champlin Park goes on to sweep St. Louis Park in 3. Gilk with another of her match-high 10 kills here in set 3. The Rebels enter Monday's match at Wayzata with a 17-3 record. You can watch Champlin Park and Wayzata live on CCX1 and CCXmedia.org Monday night at 7. That's all for sports. I'm John Jacobson.